Alright gang, welcome to Hansens Speed Shop. It's time for another muscle bike ride and review today. We're going to be doing this Sears Spyder. Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing this Sears Spyder. This is a girl's bike. The year on this bike I'm not 100% positive on, but I'm going to put it's probably somewhere between 1967 and 1970 roughly. Some of these bikes other than Schwinn are a little bit harder to specifically date. If you guys have any information on how to do that on like this bike particular, leave a comment below. But I've had this bike forever. I got it back in like the mid to late 90s and rode this thing just countless miles. And then about a year ago, we went through and I kind of not restored the bike, but just mechanically went through everything. I get tons of questions on my muscle bike or banana seat bike videos of how to do this or how to do that, or how I should go about this, or what would be the best way to do this or whatever. So I just decided to do how to revive a vintage muscle bike. If you haven't watched that video, go to the channel and check that out. A lot of questions that I get all the time can be answered on that video. But basically, these old bikes, really, as long as you just keep them up and maintain them, they'll last a long time. Because when I got this bike originally, I didn't do anything to it. I just started riding it, and I never did anything to it really till about a year ago, and it held up. And now that everything's kind of been gone through, it should hold up for another 50 years or whatever. So another thing before we get into this video, I also get a lot of questions about, especially from younger people, which is awesome. I love to hear when younger people get into, vintage stuff, cars, bikes, bicycles, or whatever, because it's going to keep that alive and keep it going into the future. And that's really why I started this channel, was to inspire people to get out and do cool stuff. But as of recent, these old bikes, banana seat bikes and muscle bikes, have really started to go up in value, which is good if you've got one and you want to sell it and you can make a pretty good profit on one. But if you're looking to get into one, it's kind of become almost, I hate to say unaffordable, but in a way it's really kind of getting that way. But these girl bikes of any of the makes, Schwinn, Huffy, Sears, Murray, they really have a nice look to them. Have all the same styling as the boys' bikes do. They give you the exact same feeling when you're riding them. And you can have just as much fun with them for a fraction of the cost. Now, when I originally got this bike, it was like $20 at like a secondhand store. My dad got it for me. And at that time, it was kind of actually, we thought, a lot of money for an old girl's bike, because usually, nobody really wanted them back then. Sometimes they'd just give them to you for free just to get rid of them. But now, say a bike in this condition, you could pick up a nice vintage rideable bike for $150 to $250, and you'll have a super cool rideable vintage bicycle that you can have a lot of fun with. And then if you want to sell it down the road, you should at least be able to get your money back out of it. If not, probably go up in value. So that's really my best suggestion as an option if you want to get into one of these old vintage muscle bike or banana seat bikes. Now this one came in a really cool color, which is kind of similar to the flamboyant lime color that was offered by Schwinn. Really has that nice kind of custom 60s look to it, especially with the white. Really looks good on here. Now these bikes were sold at Sears. So here's the original head badge. These bikes were very similar to Hiawatha's or Murray's of that time. Those three bikes really had a lot of similarities. This bike's probably most in common with what's known as a Hiawatha, which I believe might have been sold at a store called Gamble's, but I could be wrong on that. But they used a lot of the same parts, like the same kind of style chain guard and sprockets and stuff. They might even have been the same bike. They just put a different head badge on them and sold them at a different store. This bike, the model is called a Spyder. They made this in a boys version and a girls version. This bike originally came with a front fender also. It still has the original back fender on it. That was one of the first things I took off when I originally got the bike, was the front fender, just to kind of give it more of a custom look. And this bike also originally had like kind of a real thick blue metallic, like the same matching blue metallic seat on it. It was really kind of thick, and it kind of had, like, from what I remember, maybe like rivets or something along the bottom edge of it, and then it was kind of ribbed on top, but it was like totally roached out and all just really ratty. So we took that off, and then I had a black seat on here until we redid it. And this bike, when I got it, had a white wall on the back and a black tire in the front. So I'm thinking it originally had white walls on it, so that's what I went back to, and I really like that look on this bike better anyway. So on these bikes, you get these really wide handlebars, and the ends kind of tilt down a little bit more, which is kind of more typical to some of the other brands like Huffy's and Murray's and stuff. Usually the Schwinn's are more straight, like my finger, so you can see the angle difference. Got these really cool blue metallic grips on here. One cool thing about a lot of these other makes, the head tubes are the same for the girls' bikes and the boys' bikes. They have a real long head tube, where Schwinn's are specific to girls' bikes or boys' bikes. You have the same size wheel in the front and the back. These were not there. The back wheel is the original wheel to the bike. The front wheel is not. These are aftermarket. I believe these were Duro. Yeah, Duro white wall knobbies. You can pick these up really cheap, and they're like pretty much exactly the same as you would have been able to get back in the 60s or 70s. They have the same look, same tread pattern and everything. They ride really nice, and they're super cheap, like, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks a piece. Not a lot of money. It's got these matching blue metallic pedals. These are the original pedals. And then you also have the blue on the tamp on the chain guard. Then on the down tube, we had this was always one of my favorite parts. It's really worn and kind of hard to see, but there was a little racing flag there. And then you have blue, white, black stripes on the down tube here. This is a single speed, just a kickback brake. This is the original sissy bar that came on the bike. It's a clamp style sissy bar. We put this old white ribbed seat on here that looks really nice on here now. This is the type of kickstand that would have come on here, just a clamp type kickstand. Just a lot of nice little styling on these bikes. This was just a super tough, really fun bike to ride. So we also did a couple little custom touches on this bike, like a chrome chain, and then I added the cool little matching color dice cap, valve stem caps on here just for some little style. But it's just a really cool, fun bike, and it always has been. So let's take this thing for a ride. Alright guys, so here is the view of sitting on the bike. Now, one good thing about these girls' bikes is they're super easy to get on, and that was the design, and the idea behind that was to kick these top tube way down. So back in the day, it was common for girls to wear skirts or dresses or whatever. They could get on and off the bike easily and not have like an awkward struggle to try to get on them. So that's why they did that. but it just really makes it easy to get on and off the bike, period. Now with a bike like this, you can almost just kind of walk over the back or whatever, but it is really easy to get on and off, so that's one good thing about a girl's bike. Another thing, anything vintage American was just made with really good quality. They used really good materials. So, you know, even though, let's say you get something that's not a Schwinn, really anything back in that era was built super tough. You know, all the bikes back then were probably, for the most part, you know, equal as far as toughness goes. They maybe didn't have the fit and finish and the, you know, super nice quality that a Schwinn had, but that doesn't mean that they weren't super good, tough bikes. That, you know, this bike has really been rode, and when I had it as a kid, I pounded the hell out of it, and it held up and nothing ever broke, and it's still around. So you really got to give these old bikes credit. Now this bike was always a really nice, pretty comfortable bike, really fun to ride. It pedals pretty easy. It gets up and moves really pretty good. Just handles really nice. Just a really fun bike to ride. Always enjoyed riding this. And people always would really dig it and, you know, give it thumbs up and stuff. This bike just has a kickback brake on the rear, so we'll try that out. They're kind of worn, but it still works pretty good. Just a nice fun bike to ride. Really enjoyable. Here's a view looking down as you're riding. Here's kind of your view looking out. So if you guys got any questions about old banana seat muscle bikes, leave a comment below. If you're not already a subscriber to Hansens Speed Shop, hit that subscribe button. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you dug this. Otherwise, until next time, get out, work on your own projects, get those hands dirty and greasy, stay cool, and we'll catch you cats on the next one. Thanks for watching.